What's going on, guys? This is TabMock99, and today we're going to be talking about Reptile. Reptile is Mortal Kombat's first hidden character. He's also the character with the most contradictions in the entire series. So let's get right into it, shall we? When Reptile was first introduced in Mortal Kombat 1, Ed Boon snuck him in without even telling anybody. Basically, he figured, there's a blue ninja, there's a yellow ninja, blue and yellow make green, so let's just put them both together and make a new character. That's how you get the most mileage out of doing the old palette swap trick. So that brings us to the first contradiction. When did Ed Boon create Reptile? Was it on a Saturday or a Sunday? Well, on his Twitter, he explains, "One Sunday, I went through the KFC drive-thru on California and Irving Park. While waiting in line, I realized that it would be really easy to make a third ninja using Sub-Zero and Scorpion's images tinted green." So there you go. It was on a Sunday, right?
Reptile actually was the character that I came up with driving back to work from lunch on a Saturday.
Soon, arcades across the country were abuzz with rumors about this secret character, Reptile. And even more tantalizing, supposedly there was a way to play as him. Well, you know how the Mortal Kombat team likes to take rumors and turn them into reality. In Mortal Kombat 2, you actually could select Reptile. Only this time, instead of combining Sub-Zero and Scorpion's movesets, he had his own set of special moves, unique to him. Now, you know how Mortal Kombat drew a lot of inspiration from old kung fu movies? Well, when it comes to Reptile, they were inspired by a completely different kind of movie. That's right, Jurassic Park. You know Reptile's acid spit? Who can forget the acid spit scene from Jurassic Park?
Hello, Newman.
And let's not forget the main star of the series. I'm talking about the raptors. They were fierce, vicious killers, but also highly intelligent. They easily became the most favored species of dinosaur throughout Jurassic Park. So it's no wonder then that in Chameleon's ending on Mortal Kombat Trilogy, they revealed that that's exactly what Reptile is, a raptor. But they've kind of gone back and forth on whether to call him a raptor or a saurian. In Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, the vampire Nitara discovered the truth about Reptile's saurian race. That they had evolved millions of years ago, during the time of the dinosaurs, here on Earth. But they still occasionally use the term raptor.
For the raptor race!
When Reptile was given his own story for the first time in Mortal Kombat 2, they had said that his job was to protect his master, Shang Tsung. And the Mortal Kombat 2 comic put out by John Tobias had Reptile calling Shang Tsung his master. So it's pretty clear that Reptile is another of Shang Tsung's servants.
It is another of Shang Tsung's servants.
I do not serve Shang Tsung.
Something else about Reptile that's always kind of been his trademark is that he's the sole survivor of his race. You remember when Brady Games put out that Mortal Kombat playing card game?
Yeah, I remember. You remember? I remember.
Well, Reptile's character card described him as the sole survivor of a race of lizard men. In Mortal Kombat 9, they use the same kind of language. Reptile's bio describes him as the last known surviving member of his race. The latest installment in the series, Mortal Kombat X, also describes Reptile as the sole survivor. Except we know for a fact that he's not. In his Mortal Kombat 2 ending, Reptile learns about a plot to force the remaining members of his race into slavery, giving him the motivation he needed to finally turn on Shang Tsung and Shao Kahn. Now sure, the endings aren't canon, they're just a what-if situation, showing you what would happen if that character were to win. But the part of his ending that recaps the past should still hold up. Meaning that regardless of whether or not Reptile won, there are still other members of his species out there. And in fact, some of them have made appearances in the game and become characters in their own right.
Chameleon.
Saurian.
Speaking of Chameleon, in her ending in Mortal Kombat Trilogy, it mentions that she and Reptile get together and beget a new generation of raptors. Which begs the question, why didn't Reptile and Chameleon ever get together and have kids? Because he had erectile dysfunction. By the next game, Mortal Kombat 4, Reptile was banished. The official Mortal Kombat 4 comic shows a confrontation between Reptile and Sindel in Edenia. As punishment, Reptile is banished to the cobalt mines of Shao Kahn. Except his bio in Mortal Kombat 4 shows that Reptile is banished to the Netherrealm. So what's the deal? Did he get banished twice? Once in the cobalt mines of Shao Kahn, and then again to the Netherrealm? That's a double banishment. Is that even legal? And what about the fact that it says he was banished for committing genocide on other species? He's always running around talking about how oppressed he is and what a victim he is and how his species is on the brink of extinction, and he's the one driving other species to extinction. He should be double banished. He's a total hypocrite. And don't even get me started on how Reptile was depicted in the movie. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the movie. But the parts with Reptile were just weird. He starts out as a complete lizard. He uses his powers from the games, like the acid spit, and his camouflage. But then this thing happens where he kind of gets sucked up into a gargoyle of some sort, and then Reptile and this gargoyle merge together, and then all of a sudden he's a human ninja who inexplicably looks exactly like Sub-Zero and Scorpion. And it leads to a pretty cool fight scene between him and Liu Kang.
Oh, no, you don't.
And then Reptile and the gargoyle get separated, and then that's the end of him. Except for the sequel, Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Then 3 more raptors show up who look exactly like Reptile did in his human form. So are all these guys supposed to be like hybrids of the Reptile and the gargoyle statue? Or can all raptors just make themselves look like this now? This seems like a major mistake to me.
Perhaps. But it may be a blessing in disguise.
You might be right about that, because that was nothing compared to what they do in the TV show, Mortal Kombat Conquest. Here, all the raptors have full-on morphing abilities. And the female raptors don't look anything like Chameleon did. They look more like a male ninja. They look exactly like Reptile does. I'm pretty sure these are male actors, and they just dubbed female voices over them to give the impression that it's still 2 women fighting. In the animated series, Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm, Reptile was already gone, having been killed by Liu Kang in the movie. So they brought in another raptor instead, Komodai.
I am Komodai, and you, big man, have made a fatal mistake.
I thought all reptiles race were extinct.
There are more than enough of us. enough left to conquer your realm.
Ninjas, show your true colors!
I'm glad in the games they keep it simple. Reptile is just called Reptile. There's no other name for him.
Step aside, Sizoth,
You know my true name.
and the path to your defeat.
When Reptile was first introduced, he was a palette swap of Sub-Zero and Scorpion, just turned green. That made sense when the game was 2D. It was a great way to save memory. But when Mortal Kombat made the jump to 3D, they changed it up a little bit, and they made Reptile look like an actual reptile. You can see how his appearance has changed over the years. They also worked his change of appearance into the plot of the games. They said that Reptile was actually devolving.
Simon, de-evolve him now.
De-evolve. Cretaceous.
Reptile's changing physical and mental state may be linked to the prolonged separation from his people. The longer he remains away from the matriarch, the more he regresses to a more primal state. His de-evolution, his instability, may have also paved the way for his body to be taken over by the Dragon King. By the end of Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, Reptile is no longer Reptile. His body gets possessed by the soul of Onaga, the Dragon King. The interesting thing is that in Mortal Kombat Deception, you can still see Reptile in the dark prison background. Several of the characters who didn't make the cut into the game were shown in prison cells. What's interesting about Reptile is that there's actually two versions of him. There's Classic Reptile, they've also got MK4 Reptile. Now you could say that that was the start of it all, when he began to devolve into a reptile all the time, when he could no longer maintain his human appearance. Of course, in the new timeline, none of that's even happened. At least, not yet. Reptile works for Kotal Khan. In the Mortal Kombat X comics, it was shown how Kotal Khan was ordered to kill Reptile for his failure in the Mortal Kombat tournament. But he decided not to go through with it. Kotal Khan saw value in Reptile. He realized that even if he doesn't make the best fighter, he would actually make a really good spy. Well, that makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, you're talking about someone who can go completely invisible. Now you see me, now you don't. There's always been one thing that bugged me about that, though. So take your characters with enhanced vision. The characters like Kano, the Cyber Ninjas, and of course Predator. Well, they all have infrared vision, so when they look at Reptile, they should be seeing a little something like this. So it seems pretty obvious now that Reptile is a walking contradiction. He calls Shang Tsung his master, but then turns around and says he doesn't serve Shang Tsung. His appearance in the first Mortal Kombat tournament was canon. As far as the story is concerned, he was actually there. But his moveset wasn't canon. He didn't use Sub-Zero's freeze or Scorpion's spear. It's said that he's the last of his kind and that there are no others like him, except for all the other ones who are out there, some of which have even appeared in-game. For a while there, he had been banished to the Netherrealm. Or was it the Cobalt Mines of Shokan? Even his very creation is a contradiction. We don't know if it was on a Saturday or a Sunday. And it's not just him, his whole species is contradictory, whether you call them raptors or saurians or whatever other name they might come up with next. And even in the movies, he's pretty contradictory. I mean, does he really need to merge with a gargoyle in order to assume human form? Or is that just something he can do on his own? Well, that sure is a lot of contradictions. You know, I usually try and wrap these videos up by showing some connection between the Mortal Kombat world and the real world. And today's video is no exception. Let me show you something. You look at any of the old school Mortal Kombat 2 strategy guides, like this one happens to be the Mortal Kombat Superbook. But any of the Mortal Kombat 2 strategy guides published by Brady Games will show you this. It says, though legends of intelligent reptiles have existed since the dawn of man, they had always been dismissed as fable, until Reptile appeared at the Mortal Kombat tournament. They also hinted at this a little in Mortal Kombat Deception's Conquest mode.
The archaeologist down the road told me that a humanoid race of reptiles once roamed Earthrealm.
So here's the scientific basis for those legends and fables that Reptile's based on. There's a lot of dinosaur books that cover this topic, but I'm going to use Dinosaurs Through Time. They take the most intelligent species of dinosaur, the Troodon, and speculate on what it might have become. It says, some scientists believe that if the dinosaurs had not become extinct, Troodon may have evolved to become as intelligent as modern humans. They have named this imaginary creature Dinosaurid. My theory is, When the Mortal Kombat team decided to make Reptile an actual reptile, they didn't just come out of nowhere. There were already legends and pseudoscience to base him on. Until next time, this is Tabmock99 saying, see you later, alligator.
In a while, crocodile.